Hey, Brett Messmer here from Technical Taekwondo. Today's video we are going to be going through all the technical aspects and a little bit more of a deep dive into Tae Gyuk Yuk Jahn. This is the 6th form in the Tae Gyuk series, so let's just go ahead and get into it. If you want to know a little bit more about how to do the entire form, I have a separate form video teaching the actual Poomsae itself. Yeah, if you guys like what we're doing, please hit that like and subscribe button and share some of this with your friends and your buddies. Let's just go ahead and get into it. Parts of this seem to be a little basic, so we want to kind of dive a little bit deeper into these motions. On your initial step, think about shifting your weight to the right foot slightly, okay? So I can pick up this left foot with balance, crossing the arm, that low block is coming from the inside, stepping out with force and driving into that low block. When I execute the front kick, I want to transfer the weight. Even though 70% of my weight is already on that lead leg, there's still a transfer, standing up on the kick, firing the kick, recovering with balance, and then stepping back into that back stance and sinking into that hammer block. On the turn, again, I'm shifting the weight more this time than I did from the Jumbi position because I'm going from back stance almost to crane stance and driving into that low block. Again, transferring the weight, firing the front kick, and sliding back. And you want to time that hammer fist as you sit into the block. It shouldn't be 1, 2. It should all be synced together as it comes through. From that back stance, I'm coming feet together and turning and stepping out into that front stance. Remember, front stance should be slightly wider than shoulder width. So from the back stance, I'm coming back to center to get my balance, driving out in that arch step into that front stance, pressing the knee out of the outside on impact. For the outer knife hand sweeping block, this is a zone block. Actually, I believe I was going to say it's one of the only zone blocks in the Tae Gyuk forms, but I'm pretty sure it's the only zone block in the Tae Gyuk forms. From here, your hand is raised. You're kind of coming from the outside of your elbow. Whether your hand is open or closed, it's kind of a personal preference. It really doesn't matter. But I want to sweep up. When I get above my fist or above my fingers, that's when I press and make the loop. Don't make the loop from the elbow. Rise and then come across. There's a couple minor details when you're executing this block. So one, I am doing the coverage, whether I'm sweeping and I'm blocking a face punch or I'm blocking a body punch with the lower part of my arm, the whole zone is covered. That's the idea. It's just this big sweeping motion. This again kind of goes back to a white crane type of movement. Okay? But I'm up. Okay, shoulders are facing forward. I come up and then right at the last second, I pull my hip back as I press my knee to the outside. So one loop. And initially, I recommend doing this position slower. That way you can get used to the timing of when to turn the hips, shoulders, and pressing the knee. Because there's 3 or 4 different actions happening all at the same time. So it's up and turn. Okay. Again, up and turn. 1, 2. So the shoulders are forward and then turning and pressing that knee to the outside all in one action. So rising up, sweep and turn. When you're actually executing the block, you want to think about not only pressing the knee out, but the weight forward. You don't want to twist your shoulder too far backwards. You want to kind of press into the motion as you're coming. So yes, you have that turn, but you don't want to just turn. You want to press forward. Okay. That is the outer knife hand sweeping block, and again, it should be learned slower. And then once you understand it, because in the form it is not done slow motion. The only motion that is done in the form is that wedging block, which we'll cover in a little bit. So from that outer knife hand sweeping block, you're going to see a lot of schools, they throw the roundhouse kick, they're just going to basically land in fighting stance and then turn into that hammer block punch on the next step. But you need to understand how the Taegyuks are designed. For an equal number of steps going out and coming back to basically return back to Junbi position. Now, if you study the sport part of it, they will count off if you don't return to the exact same spot. So they have modified the footwork to do that, where the original forms were never designed to return. Some of them are on, some of them are off. But what's interesting about the Taegyuk series is if you go from Taegyuk Yuk Jahn all the way through and end Taegyuk Palchan, you will end up on the same spot, because the Taegyuk Poomsaes were actually designed as one form, 8 different parts. So trying to tell people that when you do Taegyuk Yuk Jahn, you have to start and end on the same points, and if you don't, we're going to take points off of it, really doesn't make any sense unless you understand it's not designed that way. On Taegyuk Yuk Jahn, if you do your roundhouse kick, land in a fighting stance, and then turn out in front stance, you're not actually executing the form the way it was designed. From that outer knife hand sweeping block, roundhouse, land in front stance, and then execute your turn. I'll just do it on the other foot so you can see what's going on. So executing the roundhouse kick, re-chamber, come back to your center, and stepping out, and basically this is just a guard position. That next sequence with the hammer block punch, kick punch, it is definitely an attack. So you want to have that attitude of attacking and having some aggressive motions moving into it. Okay? So when I make that turn, so from that outer knife hand sweeping block, I do the roundhouse. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, when I do the motions, just like Taegyuk Yuk Jahn, Ijahn, when I throw these double motions, 1, cock the hip, bounce that fist up to the ribs, execute the single punch. Transfer the weight, fire that kick. Drop the knee, and fire that punch. So you want to drop the weight, buckle that base knee, and drive out into that reverse punch. 1, 2, fire that front kick, buckle, feet come together, and drive out into that punch. What's also different on Taegyuk Yuk Jahn is this hammer block is actually a high hammer block. Normally hammer blocks are covering midsection. This is actually designed against a head punch, so the arm is slightly higher. So once you finish that reverse punch, for the turn going into the hammer block, I want to take my back foot and turn it to the outside, basically so when I step through it's out of my way. So my leg needs to cut diagonally across, so pushing here, stepping over here. That way when I pivot, I'm in my front stance. So to do that, I turn my back foot out of the way, I launch off my toes. As I'm stepping, my hands come up for the chamber, and then whip everything through and execute the hammer block. So once on this side, it's the same thing. High hammer punch, transferring the weight, fire that front kick, drop the weight as you step out, and fire that reverse punch. So once you have completed that middle section, you're going to push off your toes, coming back to parallel stance. So make sure you turn your right foot back so it's straight and your left foot is parallel to it. The wedging block that comes down is here, and spreading the wrist. This is basically 2 low blocks, but it must be executed where the wrists stay together. So think about, there's a pin between your wrists. You stay together, and then right at the belt knot, break that pin across. So it's down and then out. It is not from here to the chin, straight down. This block is actually designed to stop the double uppercut that is in Taegyuk Chilchan. That double uppercut hits the liver and the spleen at the same time, and that is actually a kill move. So this block is taught in the form previous to teach you how to stop that double uppercut. From here, we're stepping again out in that knife and swing block, lifting that hand up, and then turning and pressing that knee to the outside as I take my shoulders and my arm forward, pressing forward into it. Again, we throw it with a roundhouse, land in guard. So you need to practice your roundhouse kicks enough where you have balance, where you can come back to center. You don't want to fall into the stance. Come back to center and step forward. You throw the roundhouse kick, come forward, guard. From here, you're going to push off the back foot. Okay? Coming to chariot position, and then immediately pressing out into that front stance. You can't see me because I'm too close. So stepping out, knifing outer sweeping block, roundhouse, coming in guard, pushing off the back foot, about face, continuing moving, dropping into that low block. And this is just a repeat of the very first section. Transfer the weight, front kick, driving back, sitting, and timing that sit into the hammer block. Okay. Same thing on this side, just a turn, boom, and sit. This final section, there's a lot of different things going on. From this hammer block, the first thing I want to do is I want to look. I'm going to see my attacker coming at me. In my mind, I'm going to time the hit. So I bring my feet together, my back foot slides up, reaching up for the chamber, and then dropping into that twin knife hand block. For maximum power, fingertips should be about eyeball level height. At lip level height, I'd lose a little bit, but twin knife hand, if I'm going to be blocking a body punch, still has enough power to work. But I need to turn my wrist up, okay? Blocking in this way. If it's twin knife hand high or twin eye level, my wrist and arm should be straight. But for blocking a body punch, it will work if I bring my fingers up and bend the wrist. Okay? So I have seen it done this way, twin knife hand to the body. Okay? And this still has enough power, it has enough structure in it to be consistent and to work. So if you're doing it this way and lower, that's not wrong. It's just a little bit different variation. Again, I advise you guys to test these and go through and see which way you want to do it and which way you want to teach it. From this first twin knife hand, we are stepping back, dropping the second one, and then palm punch, we're going to go into a little bit in detail. I step back, I leave my right hand forward, generally closing it. My left hand is going to basically stick out about a 45-degree angle. So here's 90 and straight. So I'm bringing my hand halfway between. And it's just a push in. Okay? And when I want to stop on that center line. So bringing my hand up from the side and pulling that hip across. Again, similar to the inner middle blocks, I'm one hip action, and then I bring my negative hand or my negative side back into the action by bringing that hip forward. One variation is fingertips up. Okay. I can also come in and fingertips pointed forwards. This would be if I was practicing hitting and going for the grab. I can also practice this with my fingers turned down slightly. Okay. Generally, this is not taught because people are like, don't point your fingertips towards the enemy, it's too hard to get them jammed, that kind of thing. And they are correct. But if you're catching a punch, I can be here and easily go for the grab. So if my fingers are slightly down, that grab is right there. So if you're thinking about visualizing this as a self-defense option, where it's one break instead of a punch, that could be a vertical arm bar, or I'm doing palm hand, and pulling them into and breaking on the second one. Again, that's not in the form, but that second palm hand strike is in there. So it could be, you know, catch the arm and then break it on the second one and finish them off. However you want to visualize it. But there's, you know, there is some self-defense application on that. I don't need to bring the wind up from here. This has a lot of power just with this swing. And I want you guys to test it and let me know, yes, it works better with the negative hand, but how much power do you have if you just turn the hips into it? Okay, just coming across and just smacking it. And again, play with the angle of the wrist. What does that give you? What does that take away? So in the form, you're a twin knife hand, you're stepping back, and again, a lot of people bringing it from way over here. You only need to bring it up here. So twin knife hand, lifting the hands here, and then popping the hip, coming back, cocking the hip for that reverse punch. Stepping back, again, I'm only lifting the hand to the side, making that circular motion across, popping the hip, and for the reverse punch. So make sure that when you're coming up, you're bringing that hand to the knuckles and then bringing it across that way. Okay? Just like when we test and do hammer block, okay, you want to project it up that way. Okay? As I apply pressure, okay, press that knee to the outside. There, yep, there it is. Okay? Just be careful when you're doing this, you're not over-rotating the shoulders. That's probably one of the biggest habits is when people do this. So if you over-rotate that shoulder, now resist.
Yeah.
You lost it. So you want to be half-facing, you don't get into the realm of side-facing. And the other thing people miss out on is pressing that lead knee to the outside, because you want to have that resistance going that way as you're pushing this way. Again, this is a zone block, so if the punch is coming in, head level, time it. Okay, so I'm not going to go full speed, but okay. And if it's lower, okay, you just catch it lower on the arm. Okay. But make sure that you're bringing that up and getting that whole range of motion. Too many times people do this, they just kind of go straight line or do it as a regular knife hand block, reverse. When you're doing the block, think more pressing forward, and that's going to turn your shoulders rather than twisting. You want to get that idea of pressing into it. That's the outer knife and tune block. The next one in the form that we want to look at is the double wedging block. So again, we're going to test this basically the same way as you do low block. So make sure that you're bringing those wrists down, coming across here. Okay, so play with the angle a little bit. Okay. See how straighter's a little bit stronger?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, are you looking down when I tested it?
Yes.
Were you looking down?
Yeah.
Okay, that's part of it too then.
Yeah.
I was walking down too. I wasn't looking to see what you're doing. Okay, so here. Okay, turn your arms a little bit. Yeah, that got weaker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Think about pressing your knuckles down that way. There it is. A little bit stronger.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, this is designed for that double uppercut that happens in Yuchon. I'm going to come in here, make sure that the wrists stay together until that last second. There we go. Okay. And it's just getting that timing. Mm-hmm. Not really practical for modern, because no one's going to come in and double blast this way, but that's what it was originally designed for, from what we've been told. So it's obverse palm block. So on this, again, we really only need to bring the hand from about here. So this your negative hand would be up here. You don't need to bring this way out to the side. You're not gaining much, and just make sure that you're stopping that hand in right dead center line on impact. And then forcing that hip back, just like when you do an intermittent block, bring that hip back coming across. So see how he's sinking that hip back? Okay, do it again, Joe. Right. And sinking that hip all the way back in. Right. Okay. So again, when we are applying pressure, this block is meant to go straight to the side. So I'm going to push, press your knee to the outside, eyes straight forward. Okay. I talked about doing different angles of the wrist. Okay. You can be here, again, resist. Okay. Bring it upwards, still a little bit higher. Now go. There it is. Okay. And even slightly downwards, like if you were grabbing. Okay, that's also an interpretation of this motion. This, I think, is weaker. Feel it? It's weaker. It is weaker. This is pretty strong. This has a lot of strength to it. I actually think the fingers straight out test stronger than the palms up. We've tried this on the Makawari and it seems to hit a little bit harder with the fingers straight forward. I understand why you would want your fingers up, but this actually has different possibilities to it as well. So, okay. So we're just going to come in and basically strike the target. Okay. Again. Okay. Reach more out this way, pressing that knee. Reach down with your hand just a little bit. Too high up on this. Is it more just almost straight out from your hip? And that way you're going to just come straight in sideways. Okay. Snap that back hip. There it was. That's it. Okay. You can't really hear it on the video, but I can feel when he hits it right, I can feel the difference in the power on it. And he was playing with the angle of the wrist a little bit. I don't know if you can see that on the video. The target might have been in the way. This is why we test these things. You want to hit things. You want to test them against a partner. What's the correct angle? Play with it. Check it out. See what works for you. And hopefully it's the same thing that works for us, because it's body mechanics. It's aligning your muscles and bones, and just test it and see what it does. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, if you guys like what we're doing, please hit that subscribe button. And until next time, God bless and keep on kicking.